So welcome back to the Versatile PC channel. And today's video we're going to be doing a kind of a budget build for the Radeon 9060 XT 16GB variant. We picked this card up for a little bit over MSRP, but the MSRP is about $350 US. You can find them relatively for that. A lot of times they're double fan models. We did buy the triple fan model because I like the looks of it better, so we spent a little bit extra on that. Today we'll be pairing that with the Ryzen 5 7600X. We got this at Micro Center open box for $159.96, so cheaper than you could get anything else. If you're in a region that has the 7500F, that's also a good option. Next we'll be pairing that with a cheap B650 Micro ATX motherboard. This is the ASRock B650M HDV M.2. It does not have the fastest M.2 or PCIe top slot 16. It's only Gen 4. It has 2 of those. However, it has good enough VRMs for the 7600X. It says $139, but I think we got it for like $109 at Micro Center. Pairing that with one of our favorite coolers. There's also cheaper options out there, but the Hyper 212, one of my favorite coolers. Power supply, we're going with kind of an older power supply that we've had laying around for a while. It's just 850 watt, a little more than what we need, but it's 850 watt gold power supply from Cooler Master. For drive, we're going to go with Gen 4. We're going to go with the Crucial P310. For RAM, we're going with the Vulcan T-Force, non-RGB, just generic RAM. 32 gigabytes, 2 sticks. This is CL40 at 5200, so it's kind of a slower set of RAM, but we haven't built a slow RAM in a while, so let's do it. I would definitely recommend just up to that a 6000 kit, like the Corsair one we use all the time. And then for case, we're going to use the Montex XR case. We got it for super cheap at Micro Center. It was $63.99, so it's cheaper than it normally is. So that's why we went with that. There's other options out there for cheap cases. Oops. Other cheaper cases we recommend is the Bitfinex Nova Mesh, the Micro ATX. They have the Sama cases. They're a little bit more expensive now, but they were cheap for a while. Then we have the Okinos Aqua 3, I think it's called. It's a good case on Amazon. So basically any case that comes with pre-installed fan is always a good option when trying to cut down on budget and on time and on cable management. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do our normal stuff, or do a normal routine. Get our motherboard unboxed, prep it, get the CPU installed, RAM installed, the drives installed, and since we're doing air cooler this time, we can install our air cooler. So we're going to unbox this. So you get your manual. This board does not have Wi-Fi, but you get your connectors and stuff for extender drives and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and unbox it and bag it with the annoying bag. And then, as we always do, we will just close all this out because we don't need any of this. Just temporarily, we don't need any of it. Go ahead and do this. Close all this up. Go ahead and unbag our CPU. It has a little cover, a foam cover on the back. You actually go ahead and just keep it on this little foam cover. Top PCIe slot has this little extension thing on it. It has 2 M.2 slots. We're going to use the top one. It only has 2 dual channel RAM, which is fine, which we will use. So let's go ahead and install our RAM since we're here. So this is going to be the T-Force logo. Will go towards the motherboard. It does not have single. It has single latches on one side, so you just line it up. Push down to your clicks. You always double check that it's seated. It's really not really much of a thrills motherboard. It's kind of not really covered. Not the most pretty thing to see in the world. The side there, in the back thing. It is a pre-installed panel, which your I/O shift, which is cool. It does not have Wi-Fi. There's an option with Wi-Fi, however. 2.5 gigabit LAN. Not that bad of USB connectors. 4 2.0s, and I think these are 3.0s. So let's go ahead and remove our M.2 drive. Cover. So it really doesn't matter what order you do this. You can put the CPU in first, you can do the drive first, you can do the RAM first. But generally, the first three things you do with your motherboard is prep that. Since we're using air cool, we'll go ahead and just install it out here, which makes it a lot easier. As you may notice, we're not using a micro ATX case. However, it's perfectly fine for what we're doing. Let's go ahead and move this. Maybe, I mean, we technically could just do that, but we will just go ahead and remove the whole thing. We're not really like speed building this. Make sure you remove these covers here. This does not have a bottom one, but that's fine. Go ahead and grab our drive. Our drive, the PT10 bus, 7100 megabits per second. Crucial drive. We love Crucial drives here. We use a lot of them. Our editing PC has 2 of them in it. Our gaming, I think we do have a gaming PC that has another one in it. So yeah, we use them a lot around here. So we do need the standoff screw, which is in the motherboard box, which is below what we need. Right? Oh, no, there's this thing holds up. So this holds this down. So let's go ahead and remove our cover, our little heatsink thing. Make sure we put this the right direction again. So let's put it on the right direction this time. Make sure it lines up with your holes. Start screwing your .2 covers down, which is easy to do. I'll go ahead and put our CPU in. We got our open box 7600X, which it was not used before. We couldn't tell it was used before. However, we had to redo this video because our audio didn't record. So that's why it looks apparently used. So let's go ahead and pop this open. Pop this bad boy open. Put our latch down. Push down. Slide it out the right side. And then this will pick up. And this will pick up also. And then you just slightly, very carefully, you can grab it however you want. You want to grab it like this. You want to grab it like this. Some people grab it with the top fingers. I just grab it from the side. Line up your slot, your shiny triangle with the shiny triangle, and this little top slot will go with this little top thing there. Just slide it in very lightly. Don't push down the pins. Slide it in very lightly. Don't push down on it. Just close it up. Set it down. Sometimes you have to. This will be kind of jarring. Then this cover will pop off. Put this in your motherboard box in case you have to send it back for RMA reasons or warranty, or it's dead on arrival, which unfortunately does happen quite a bit with motherboards. So with that being done, we can go ahead and put our CPU cooler on. Again, we use this thing all the time. This is the CoolMaster Hybrid 12. If you did buy the RGB version, there is a black or just an all black version. I think an all white version as well. I think it does have no RGB fan. So if you don't want any RGB with this, which this build will have RGB, but there's other budget options out there. Thermaltake makes a lot of good options. I just picked this up from Best Buy because it was close and I realized I didn't have an extra cooler. I mean, we could use the Pure Rock, but I don't think that's. We could use the Pure Rock that I have behind me. However, I don't really think that fits the budget kind of thing because it is a $50 or $40+ cooler. So this comes with thermal paste, all the bracketry you need. In the box, you get your cooler and then your fan. So go ahead and pull out the cooler. Okay, with the cooler being out. Okay, so now we gotta find the right brackets. You can either look in the manual or you can just guess. Let's go ahead and remove the stock mounting brackets. Most coolers nowadays do not use a stock mounting bracket other than AMD stock coolers. I know the Cooler Master AIO sometimes does use them depending on which one you have. The Cooler Master one we do does use the factory mounting bracket, so I would always make sure you keep these just in case. Just put them in your motherboard box and put your box in your attic or in your basement or in a box somewhere. And, it's always good to have all your extra pieces left over just in case you want to change something up. In order to install our cooler fans or our coolers, so we can move this first or after. So that's on here. So make sure it lines up. So it only goes one direction. It can't go like this because that'd be too far out. So it has to go inward. Both sides. They're not really labeled on the Cooler Master one, but just be logical. Let me do this. Just kind of line it up like that. You line it up, make sure it's like that. Yep. And then you grab this. So these brackets, they go opposite. So they go like this. Okay. They don't go like that. It's close. Go like this, I believe. I believe they go like that. So they go like that from the top side. So they mount to this little rail here. You screw from the bottom. And you get these little tiny screws for that reason. So let's go ahead and slide our motherboard up. Let me show you how to install these. Our bracket up here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we lined up our brackets correctly, and we did, I think. Yep, everything looks like they lines up right. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this off and install our thermal paste. Always make sure you remove these little peels, or else you'll have some CPU temp issues. So let's go ahead and use the Cooler Master one for now, the one that came with the cooler. I do have extra thermal paste on other things, but we're going to just use this for now. I'll use it different figures. I'll skew this on here. Use the whole tube if you feel like it. You can use some of the tube. It doesn't really matter as long as you put it in the center, or you can X mark it or dot in the middle, smiley face. However you apply it, you can also spread it out with a spreader if you want to, but we'll just use the CPU cooler to smash it down. The Cooler Master logo is no longer engraved. It's just kind of so any direction works. Set it into each hole. All holes lined up. Let's grab our. Now we will grab our correct screwdriver, and we will screw in. If you start at one corner, screw it down a little bit. Start at your bottom, the opposite corner. Go ahead and go to your next corner down, and just keep kind of moving on until you get to where you've gone all the way around a couple times until you just tighten them down. And just kind of keep going around. You can do a couple turns at a time, or you can do, 4 or 5 turns at a time, whatever you feel necessary, as long as it's close to even pressure as you can get. Close to even pressures as you can get. All right, now that our motherboard is entirely prepped, we are all good to go. We will go ahead and we can install our CPU cooler fan right now, which I guess we could, because we don't have anything else with the motherboard. So let's go ahead and install our RGB. There's probably not a lot of RGB connector on this one. So far there's one. So I don't think there's another one on this board, because it is a cheap board. However, this does have automatic RGB on, so we're not going to change it. So let's just go ahead and just plug it in. So I'm trying to show this the best I can. This says CPU fan 1, CPU fan, and water pump. So if you have an AIO, you would just plug it into this one. If you have a normal air cooler, you just plug it into CPU fan 1. I generally like to put my cables, my wires towards the motherboard, and then route them upwards. They're easier to hide. I usually don't take these off because they're usually long enough as is. You could always take them off though if you wanted to. I'm just going to snap it in, just going to slide it in the front, hooks into the front, and then it hooks onto the cooler. You line it up to the center and do the same thing to the bottom. Hook, and send it in. Hook, and send it. Hook, and send it. Just like that. Done. Then we'll go ahead and we're just going to keep our RGB here for now. We might grab it out later and hook it into like a daisy chain connector thing later. We'll see. I'm not worried about RGB on this particular cooler because it automatically RGBs whenever you power it on. Alright, so now you just plug it into your fan header. It only goes one way with the 2 little brackets, or 2 little kind of standoffs right there. Just goes in there. Alright, let's go ahead and Alright, so now our cables are all hidden. Now you can't even tell. So cables to it. Let's go ahead and grab our case, and then we'll start installing stuff into our case. Go ahead and remove our side covers. So side panel. Do how we always do, and that's carefully strip our case, set our panels in good spots. You can set it back in your box. Be careful when you have tempered glass not to set it on anything super cold and or tile. Tile seems to make it explode. I don't know why. Like ceramic stuff like that. I'm sure porcelain probably does the same thing. Just makes it explode. Kind of porcelain with glass or ceramic with glass does make it kind of explode for some reason. Right, ceramic tiles. Set everything off to the side. So this case is super cool. It's got one exhaust fan pre-installed, two reverse blade intake fans in the front, so it's perfect for airflow already. So you don't have to add extra fans, especially because we're using low powered parts, low wattage parts anyway. So we'll be perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and take our Micro ATX motherboard into our non-Micro ATX case. Make sure you pull your little cover off. Go ahead and set it into our case. Make sure it lines up with the standoffs, which we will show you in a second. Right, make sure your motherboard shows off these standoffs. So we will have extra standoffs. You can always take these out, but because we're using Micro ATX, we will have extra standoffs. It is what it is. We do have a full-size motherboard we could have put in here, but I wanted to use a more budget-friendly option, which is usually Micro ATX, because it's a lower budget build. So altogether, I think this build costs probably what? I'll put a pricing screen of actual pricing at time of filming. Make sure our rear I/O panel lines up, and then make sure our standoffs line up. I think there's 6 of them on Micro ATX motherboards, so let's go make sure they all line up. I need to build my build here in a second, or I need to switch over my build here momentarily. I'm going to just screw them down. We're going to go ahead and hook in our audio, because I could do it without even kind of consulting. So this only goes in one direction. There's a pin in here that's blocked off. It goes in the blocked off slot that does not have a metal pin sticking up. F panel goes in this side of the motherboard. It'll say front panel. Okay, this is right here, front panel 1. And this has a, again, blocked off pin. You make sure it's in the blocked off pin spot. Most of these are proprietary, so they all kind of line up the same. It's nice when they're all connectors like this, where it's not individual pins. It's a unified front panel connector, so you just plug it in. Be very careful on Micro ATX not to push too hard. All right, so then you're going to put your USB connector in. This has right here, so it's going to go right here. This one, so it has this little standoff, or this little guide thing. So you push this down. Be careful not to push too hard. Then make sure you push down straight and lightly till it clicks. If you push at an angle, it can snap off. That's the only problem with it. So the nerve-wracking thing is just make sure you're pushing everything straight down. And push this down to your click, just like that. And we will go ahead and pull that wire back, push that wire back through, and pull it through from the other side when we pick it back up. All right, so then let's go ahead and grab our power supply. Let's go ahead and start throwing our power supply wires in. CPU connector, so up in the top left-hand corner, there's our CPU connector here that needs to go get plugged in. So this only goes with this little tab on the top side, I believe. So sometimes they're upside down. Just feel your finger in there, make sure there's a little ridge on there that goes plugged into, and then you just flip it over. Go ahead and grab our 24 pin. Again, it has this little retention thing here in its tab, so just make sure you plug it in. Just again, push straight down, not at an angle, push straight down. You just gotta slide the power supply in. It does sometimes get hard to plug the power supply in when the USB connector is plugged in, because it's thicker wire. Once you get it in, it's fairly easy to get in. And just line it up with the holes. Line it with the holes in the case, with the holes in the power supply, and start screwing it in. Do the best part, the most fun, exciting part. Part we've all been waiting for. Unboxing our GPU. do the fun part. The best part ever. Holy grail. The whole point of your build. The whole point of your PC. The graphics card. The whole point of your build. The graphics card. Let's go ahead and slide it in. First you have to remove some covers. So in this case, you got to remove the top two to get to this access to this cover right here. This right here, you have to remove the top two PCIe covers. This is a dual slot card. Remove the covers. Drop it down because you don't lose your screw like I just did. Which I didn't, but could have. Screw your screw. Take the cover out. Put your cover in your motherboard box or in your case box, whichever one. Go ahead and make sure your PCIe cover's off. Make sure you unplug all these connectors here in the back. Push down this little tab in the middle. And go ahead and slide in your GPU. Until you hear it click. Or we'll hear it click, one of the two. There you go, now you hear it click. And then you screw in the side. So we will just plug this one in just because we can. It's a low wattage card, it's not like a big deal. Make sure you plug it in the one way that it goes. And you hear it click in. Then make sure it doesn't come out. Take your section things. Alright, so now you can do what we call the test boot. Make sure everything turns on, powers on. Or you can just be confident in yourself and put all your panels on and know it's going to work. Okay. Alright, so the total of this build was roughly around $894. So $900 basically for this build right here. A couple things you could have went a little bit cheaper on. You could always get a cheaper tower cooler. You could always get cheaper graphics card. This one's like, I think I bet it's like $300. I think it was technically a couple dollars cheaper than that. You can always get a cheaper option, like an actual 16 GB MSRP card, like a 2-fan card. So yeah, there you go. So if you guys enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. I guess you also get a cheaper case. So if you guys enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment other videos you want to see like this. If you want to see other videos like this in the future, more separate building videos, other things like that, let me know. More testing videos, whichever. We definitely do want to do more testing videos when it comes time to them. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. See you all in the next one.